in the car, you know, having breakfast. He's with me always. He was a really beautiful human being. Good evening. I am Martha, and today again, like so many before it, I could not be more honored to have had Carlos in my life. I love and admired him deeply. He was not only my brother, but a very good friend. On behalf of my mother and family, we thank you and welcome you in taking this time to honor him and remember how special he was to each one of us. Carlos was a very, very good man who touched and enriched our lives in so many different ways. He held so many qualities: selflessness, smarts. He was a good listener. He always seemed to have the right thing to say and make you laugh. His hands were a gift, always coming up with solutions. You could always see the wheels just turning for every problem you might have. We all remember his humor and his funny outlook on life. I remember in Missouri we had no TV, so he did a hand puppet show on the ceiling for my mom and I so that we could be entertained. So he had a lot of like childlike qualities. My daughter remembers his kindness, not just for our family, but others. He was Santa at our niece's preschool. He took toys to underprivileged children, helping people with a quadriplegic son to spend his birthday with him because the mother could not carry him because she was only like 100 pounds. So Carlos was always looking for acts of kindness. I remember a story where he lent a complete stranger on the bay his battery to his jet ski. And I said, Carlos, they're not going to give you back your jet ski battery. He goes, no, they are. So the minute you met Carlos, he became like your best friend. And he didn't want to ruin the guy's day out on the bay, so he just gave him his battery for his jet ski. And that's the kind of person he was. He was always trusting and always just trying to help. During his younger days, he was invincible and he was limitless. And he had extremely good looks. He was a charmer. And all his friends can probably tell you stories of all the fun times they had. He loved animals. I remember him bringing Oreo, a stray kitten, and feeding him for 3 weeks by hand. What 47-year-old man does that? He loved sunsets, the water, good food, good friends, good fun, and most of all, his family and friends. I miss him every day, but I am thankful that God blessed me to have had him in my life. I see him and I hear him daily. He comforts me daily. He was taken from us with so much more to live due to my mistaken identity, aggressive police behavior, uncontrolled anger, and road rage that clouded their judgment, and it led to his death. We will be fighting for a no-chase law, transparency for the police department, and accountability. So please remember him always in a sunset, in a rainbow, a butterfly, a song, a laugh, and an act of kindness. Thank you for being here.
I can remember around here there was no houses or nothing, and we were like the pioneers of Chula Vista. We were around before a lot of people around here. Things have changed for the worse. It's not like when I grew up and my sister grew up. It's just like everybody's mad at each other now. There's so much hate in the world, and people can't get along. And this is probably a result of it. I miss my brother, and I try to deal with it by not thinking of it. But I do think of it every day. It kills me inside, but I need to live for my sister, my mother, my wife, my 3 daughters, my 2 grandkids. So I'm living for them. I'm living my life for them. But I've had suicidal thoughts. You know, just he was taken from us, and the whole thing could have been avoided. The cops seem like they're unhinged. I don't know what their problem is. I remember when I was growing up, they would wear a tie, shoes, now no tie, combat boots, and it looks like they're ready for like war or something. I don't know what's going on. It's terrible. Never had really a good experience with them. I'm afraid of them. I try to avoid them at all costs. It's awful. I grew up when there was a CHP officer that I think his name was anyways, a CHP officer who killed young women and threw them off a bridge, and you know, they're supposed to protect us. And then a black pastor in, I believe, Texas was shot and killed in his own apartment. Michael Brown by hands up. You're not safe. You're not safe at all. You're in God's hand. When you wake up in the morning, don't take it for advantage, because you don't know if you're going to make it home or not. And don't take life for granted. So what else?
Well, we're going to keep fighting for transparency. We're going to keep fighting for accountability. We're going to keep fighting for a no chase law. This shouldn't have happened. He went out for a sandwich from our house, and he didn't come home. The police notified us at 4 a.m. after he had died at 9:47 at night. 2 police officers chased him at over 100 miles an hour. They did not follow protocol. They did not turn on their body cameras, and they're not being held accountable. We would have had our brother here today. These streets used to be safe, where you could go out, and they were here to protect us, but now they're angry. They're angry. They're just angry. That's what and they have like road rage. They don't think things through. They took my brother's lives, and they were judge, jury, and executioner.
And this case has a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that don't add up and make sense.
But we miss our brother terribly. He was the one that held our family together. He was selfless. He was a kind man that would do anything to make us happy.
I believe there was somebody impersonating a coroner when they came to bear the bad news. So there's been impersonations, cover-ups. It's not supposed to be like that. I mean, it's like a banana republic or a third world nation, and it shouldn't be like that.
So we'd like to thank everybody for coming. We wish we had our brother here today. I wish he would have he was only 47 years old, and he didn't deserve this. He
went out to get a sandwich. A sandwich.
So, again, we just want to make the public aware of the police not being held accountable, the police not following protocol, the police not turning on body cameras, and if they just would have called the sergeant, the duty sergeant, there's got to be a want established for a chase at 100 miles an hour through the streets of Eastlake. There was no want. The only thing on the audio, it states that they cannot read his plates and that he ran a red light.
Allegedly.
He should have not died for this. And we ask the public to please come forward if they have any info regarding that September 23rd, 2016 evening. And again, our family thanks you. And we love you all. And Carlos is watching us from heaven, and I'm sure he's happy that you're all here. Thank you so much.
For all those folks who may not know him, who is Carlos Sanchez to you?
Carlos was a very, very kind man. All the neighbors loved him. He was 47 years old when he passed away. He always was extremely kind. We have friends that are here today that are remembering him for all the wonderful things that he did for them. Helping someone with a quadriplegic son, taking him to dinner because the mother was only 100 pounds and Carlos had to load him in the car and unload him from the car so that he could celebrate his birthday. Helping people with Alzheimer's because they lost their keys. He would drive to go help them find their keys. Giving toys to the homeless children. He was lending complete strangers his battery to his jet ski on the bay because somebody's battery went out on the bay and he didn't want to ruin their day, so he would just lend a perfect stranger his battery. He was always doing acts of kindness, being Santa at the niece's preschools, picking up a stray cat and feeding them for 3 weeks with a bottle. Just extreme. Bobo here was one of his neighbors, and he had a heart attack. He helped his wife go to the bank every day, make sure that she closed the store okay, that nothing, that she was protected while Bobo was in the hospital with a heart attack. Just random acts of kindness in everybody's life. We miss him terribly. He was kind of the person that would put his schedule aside to help me move, to fix the plumbing because he was a plumber. Just an extremely kind man.
2 years. How's life now?
It's hard. Every day I think about him. I drive down the street, especially we lived here. Driving, I see the cross 3 or 4 times a day, just driving by. Hearing a song on the radio, watching a motorcycle go by. Just people that look like him. I see, like the back of a man wearing shorts, and I'll go up to him and say, "Can I give you a hug?" And they go, "Okay," but it doesn't get any easier. Everybody says it gets easier, and it doesn't get any easier. You avoid going home because you know that when you get there, he's not going to be there. You try not to think about it. You try to get home tired so that you don't have to think about it. So that he's not at the dinner table. He's not, watching TV with us. He's not doing his carne asadas with us. We miss him. We just miss him. His laugh. He would call my brother 4 to 5 times a day. My brother has wanted to commit suicide, and it has hit him extremely hard because he doesn't have Carlos to call him and just say, "How's it going?" And that's the type of guy he was. He would just call you and say, "How's it going?" Just pick up burritos and just bring them over. He loves spending time with family and friends. He's the type of person, when you don't see your best friends because we get so busy, Carlos would always make time for our family and his friends, for whatever we needed.
You said that you've been trying to work with police, the city, everybody in between. Can you tell us how far have you gotten so far? Have you gotten any answers?
So we, when it first happened, it happened at 9:47 at night. We didn't get notified at the house, being so close. We're like less than a mile and a half away. We didn't. The family was not notified until 4 o'clock in the morning, and we got a knock, and we were told that it was the coroner's office, and it was not. It was a plainclothes policeman that impersonated the coroner, and his name was Sergeant Miranda.
That's got to be some kind of crime.
And then, so then we wrote a letter requesting his motorcycle so that we could have a special investigation. They destroyed the motorcycle.
Destroyed the evidence.
After our attorney requested the motorcycle, they sent it to have it destroyed. We made several attempts to speak to the police chief. We made several attempts to speak to the mayor. We went to our internal affairs. We complained to them about police not following protocol. They failed to turn on their body cameras. They're supposed to turn them on prior to an anticipated stop. They did not. They failed to tie a tourniquet to my brother's leg when it was severed. It took the third police officer to tie a tourniquet when both police officers have had first aid training and they have been given tourniquets on their utility belts. They failed to turn them on there to put them on my brother. They failed to call the sergeant.
Death right here.
They failed to call the sergeant on duty to allow the chase to continue. It has to have a want established. You can't just run through the streets of Eastlake at 100 miles an hour chasing someone, putting everybody at risk without
absolute power corrupts.
Without having a want established. They said allegedly he ran the red light, he went against traffic, but all that the audio states is that they can't read his plates. On the audio from 911 audio in broadcastity, nothing to that effect is on there.
Sounds like a cover-up.
So we have, the audio shows that there were nothing with, he ran the red light, he's going against traffic, I need backup, nothing to that effect, only that he can't read his plates. They continued, they lost him.
They lost sight of him and they're supposed to
stop the chase.
That's their protocol.
When they lose sight of someone, they continue the chase. The officers state on their report that they cannot tell if the lights are green or red as they're going through them. So that means they were going in excess of 60 to 80 miles an hour. Because at 60 miles an hour, you can tell if the lights are green or red. So
put the public at risk.
They put all the
Lives
public
at
at risk and killing my brother.
Stuff. I have a question. So from what, of course, I wasn't here in 2016. So all the questions I have, I'm gonna say to the point where what I've read, like just like you said, he was going in the wrong direction, according to police.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, because we have no body camera.
And no trial because he's dead.
What would you like to see happen?
I requested to talk to the mayor of the city. I requested.
What happened?
She didn't even return my phone call. I requested to talk to the police chief only to find out if they had tourniquets and do they know how to place them. Only to find out why they're not turning on the body cameras when the protocol states that they should turn them on, we would not have all these questions and all these unanswerable questions if they would have turned on their body cameras. It's for their protection and for our protection. And it's not up to them whether they want to turn them on. It is written protocol.
You said that Carlos was out for what exactly?
He went out at about 9:15 or 9:10 to go to Felipe's to get a sandwich or Lolita's. He was hungry and we were watching TV. He went out. We went to bed, my husband and I and my mom, and they come and knock on the door at 4 o'clock in the morning saying that he was pronounced dead at the scene. And again, Sergeant Miranda stating that he's the coroner, and we could not
Impersonated the coroner.
we could not say no to an autopsy, that it was mandatory. And he said he was the coroner.
Tough question to ask. They said that he evaded police.
Correct.
Allegedly. Was your brother, do you believe that?
I don't think that Carlos would have went through a blind intersection on Otay Lakes Road. It is not visible from the right or the left because there's buildings and there's a hill, and he would have not gone through 6 lanes of oncoming traffic in a blind intersection. So they're stating that he ran the red.
Alleged red traffic violation.
You do not run the red.
No body camera to prove it.
You do not run the red.
It's all the cops here say.
You can see all the traffic that's going through right now. He would have not ran 6 lanes of oncoming traffic on Otay Lakes Road in a blind intersection. So that's the first lie.
Not all cops are bad, but not all cops are good.
So, again, they said that he did not slow down to the light as they were approaching that intersection. It is impossible to see that intersection and that light from where they were. It's a blind. It's blinded by buildings, and it's blinded by a hill.
So
they cannot see it. They were heading eastbound on Otay Lakes Road. They said he did not slow down that street, and he ran it. It is impossible for them to see it from Otay Lakes Road. You cannot see him coming down that hill from Felipe's and from Lolita's. It's impossible.
The cops were already pissed, unhinged, because there were supposedly motorcycles racing in the area that night.
So they say that about a few minutes before that they had received a call that there was motorcycles racing in the area. So as a case of mistaken identity, he went out for a sandwich.
They just wanted to get anybody on a bike that night. And I'm sure bikers know that they're chased by cops and labeled by cops. I'm sure bikers know what I'm talking about.
Is there anything else you would like to say?
No, I would just like the mayor to meet with me and the police chief to meet with me, so how we can work together to retrain these officers to use a tourniquet on their belt, turn on their body cameras. It is not up to them to decide whether to turn them on or not. It is their written protocol. I would like to improve their training. I would like to improve their, so I would like my brother not to die in vain. I would like him to work with the police department and us to work with the police department so that this doesn't happen again. They should not chase motorcycles. There are studies out from that a motorcyclist will stop After 70 seconds, if he's not being chased, he will automatically stop. So if they feel that they are helping the situation, they're not. They need to, they had his address, they had his license plate, they could have met him at the house. They did not have to drive through the streets at 100 miles an hour, pulling all the cars to the right that eventually hit my brother, a car that pulled to the right, sent him flying 5 car lengths, okay, to his death. And then they let him bleed to death. So I would like some transparency. I would like no chase laws for motorcycles. And I would like the police chief and I would like the mayor of Chula Vista to please speak to us and the family of how we can better resolve this and not have this happen again.
What do you say to people that would say that police were just doing their job?
They were doing their job, but not to the way they were not. They did not do their job correctly. They have protocols to follow,
so that this doesn't happen.
And they broke them.
Total disregard of the law, absolute power.
They did not call the sergeant on duty. They did not video cam it. They did not call off the chase when the chase was lost. And
rookie cops making a rookie mistake, and then the veterans come in and clean it up.
So that we're told that the police chief is the police department is understaffed, and they have not been able to make first priority calls and second priority calls in a timely manner. If these 2 police officers would have taken the time to just rethink it through, we would have not had 12 patrol cars out here until 4 o'clock in the morning. This all could have been avoided. Maria, which is a friend of ours and for support, and her nephew was killed by the Vista Police Department.
Vista or Chula Vista?
Vista.
Vista, okay.
And he was shot 28 times. He's only 23 years old, so he's passed away.
Okay. Go ahead and tell me about the anniversary of what we're doing here today.
So tomorrow is September 23rd, and my brother passed away. He was chased by the police on September 23rd, 2016. We lived here in Eastlake. He went out for a sandwich at Felipe's at about 9:17 that evening. At 4 o'clock in the morning, we received a knock on the door that he had passed away on the scene, that there was a police chase, and that he died on the scene. The police did not follow protocol. We went to internal affairs. I went and got the police protocols, all 800 pages, and I went through. And during police chases, there's to establish a want. And a want is not a traffic violation, which the officers did not turn on their body cameras.
So we can't prove
There
it.
was 2 police officers that allegedly said he ran the red. It is impossible to see that he ran the red light from Otay Lakes Road because the officers were going eastbound and it's blocked by buildings and a hill. So they said he did not slow down and he just flew by 6 lanes of oncoming traffic, which is difficult to believe because Otay Lakes Road is one of the heaviest streets and people are traveling at over 60 miles an hour going east to west. So the police did not establish want. They did not turn on body cameras. They did not call the duty sergeant to let him allow them to continue the chase. They lost him, and they continue the chase. After they lose you, they're supposed to stop the chase. And after it gets to a point where it's too dangerous for the public and for themselves, they're to stop the chase, and they continue.
Is this still an ongoing, is it open as far as the investigation of the chase?
We hired an attorney to sue Christina Denning, to sue the city, and to sue the police department regarding them not following protocol, which led to the death of my brother. His leg was severed, and the police have tourniquets on their belts. They failed to put on the tourniquet. They let him bleed out.
Right here, all the blood right here.
It was until the third officer arrived on the scene that he tourniqueted my brother. So they allowed about 3 minutes to let him bleed out.
And there's video on all this, probably online, and it's so hard to watch. I mean, once you watch it, you're never the same. I won't watch it. My wife watches it. I can't watch my brother die on the internet.
So it takes about 3 to 5 minutes for somebody to bleed out. By the time the ambulance got here, they declared him dead on the scene. He had no pulse because he had no blood. His leg was almost severed. So possibly if they would have tied a tourniquet, he would have had some blood pressure.
My brother would be alive today.
And there would be so many questions that we have that are unsolved, but we don't know the answer due to the fact of them not turning on the body cameras, that we just gave them $500,000 to arm them with body cameras, and their protocol states that they will turn them on prior to an anticipated stop.
But they only use it for their own benefit.
Both officers did not turn on the body cameras.
So you only see one side of the story. It's their side of the story.
So obviously you guys have a bad taste with police. Is there ever a situation where if you needed them and you needed to call, I mean, how would you feel? Like at that moment of like something where you needed them, but like with this situation, is there a factor now that you won't, I mean, how do you feel about?
I thought these things only happen to other people in lower economic circles, you know, and I thought this doesn't happen to us. But at this point, I feel, first, they came for me, I said nothing. Then they came for me and there was no one to speak. So at this point, there's no trust. At this point,
I don't have any need for it.
At this
Take
point,
care of myself.
there was no empathy on their part. It was they were judge, jury, and executioner. I've been treated. They got rid of the evidence. We were not allowed to look at the evidence. We were not allowed for a special investigator to look at the evidence. They got rid of it. Even after we requested it in writing, and I was told by Lieutenant Hines that if my brother was alive today, he would tell me to drop it, because they did not want to smear my brother's name. There was no empathy. They just told me I took it as a small threat. Don't go ahead. Let it ride out. Let it stop here.
Or else.
Because we don't want to smear your brother's name. And at this point, there's no more that they could have done. They killed him. And we hold them responsible because they could have stopped the chase. They should have followed protocol.